What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome back to another episode of Remember the Great Sports. Today we're going to do a little different episode. This is kind of to celebrate Memorial Day, this upcoming holiday weekend. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you an American veteran who threw out the first pitch a couple of years ago at a Seattle Mariners baseball game. I saw other people having successes with this gentleman, and I happened to come across some of his 2016 Topps update cards. So I tracked down his address via some other internet forums and saw some other people get his autograph, and I sent a few of them in the mail and I got them back. Not to spoil the fun too much, but it is postmarked from Provo, Utah, and I actually already opened the envelope because I thought it was who I thought it was, and I just wanted to make sure before I started rolling the camera. But I sent 3 cards to this gentleman. This is one of the coolest successes that I've ever gotten. This is not somebody that you would normally think of writing to get a through-the-mail autograph request, but they made a card of him, so I wrote him. So that person that I am referring to is former United States Navy member Burke Waldron on 3 of 3 2016 Topps update cards, and he threw out the first pitch. I'll zoom in just a tad so we can look at those a little closer while I discuss him. And that's, he threw out the first pitch at a Seattle Mariners game on May 30th, 2016. And I'm just going to share, with you what the back of the card says. When he was called to the mound to throw out the first pitch at Safeco Field on May 30th, 2016, the 92-year-old Waldron did not walk, he ran. As ready for duty as he had been in 1943 when he began his military service at Pearl Harbor, the retired United States Navy Petty Officer Second Class hustled his way to the hill. Burke waved to fans and then brought some left-handed heat to Seattle catcher Steve Clevenger. So, very cool addition to the collection. I did a little more research on Mr. Waldron, and he's obviously a United States veteran, which is why I wanted to share this with you on Memorial Day weekend. A World War II veteran, which, unfortunately, because that war was so long ago, it's hard to remember how long those individuals, that fought for our country, a lot of them aren't around anymore. This weekend, when you are out celebrating with your family, remember to take a pause and think of all the people that have sacrificed, the men and women that fought for our country throughout the years, starting with, going back to the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. Those people are long forgotten because they've been gone for so long, but with the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, etc., in the current situation that we're having at war in the Middle East, I don't even know what to call that war. Maybe some of my viewers can comment below, but one of the things that I've discussed with my father and my family, my father's a retired officer of the Army. He also served in the Navy. He's a dual service member, believe it or not. And he and I have had this discussion. What exactly do we call what we're doing right now? I mean, going back to the last war in the Middle East, when we were in, when the Iraq crisis was going on, that was called Desert Shield or Desert Storm. My father actually served in the Army at Desert Shield or Storm. It was Desert Shield when he left, it was Desert Storm when he got back. So He served in the Army. He was in Saudi Arabia, I believe. I was only about 11 years old at the time when he did serve. But like so many families today, you're without that loved one for a short period or a long period of time, and it can be kind of, trials and tribulations on the family by doing that type of thing. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to all the service members and their families, which I came from a family of a service member, and appreciate those people when you're out there. I don't want to ramble too much because this video series is to focus on autographs, but I just wanted to share with you Burke Waldron. If you have an opportunity to maybe find a few of these cards, send them to the mail, definitely do so. Tell him how much you appreciate his service time. That's exactly what I did, and he reciprocated with signing 3 of these cards for me. So I want to again press on and thank everybody, and even some of the YouTubers that are viewers of mine that are veterans. I'm sure there are some of you out there. I want to say thank you very much for the sacrifices that you have done for this country, the United States, the greatest country on earth to live in my opinion. If I didn't think that way, I'd move. That's kind of the way I feel about it. And whether we are divided about what's going on in our country, I think as Americans we can all agree that we are unified as one when it comes to going to battle against terrorism and all of those type of things. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. To focus a little more about the man that we're talking about, Burke Waldron, I might put some still images up of him really quick. And there's a picture that I spotted of him with Edgar Martinez. He requested specifically that he'd like to meet Edgar Martinez, so Edgar was in attendance on May 30th that day to talk to Mr. Waldron and meet him. And I just think it's wonderful that a gentleman like this is recognized, and I think it's wonderful that Topps has gone out of the way to recognize the importance of putting somebody like this in a set. This set in particular, I've seen various cards. I don't know if you guys remember these or seen these from a couple years ago, but they had various celebrities and musicians and that type of thing in the set doing first pitches. But I thought this was probably the coolest one out of the set. Not only that, Mr. Waldron is not a celebrity, so he's actually somebody that appreciates getting mail probably and reciprocating with an autograph. I mean, there's others that were in the set that I don't think would even look at their mail if you sent it to them and asked them to sign it. So I don't want to name any names, but if you want to look up the set, you can probably get an idea like, yeah, like I'm ever going to get him to sign. So that's kind of what I thought when I looked at this set. I'm like, yeah, well, there's not too many other people I think that it's worth messing to try to get through the mail, because I don't think they're going to sign anyway. And some of these people are like reality TV show stars, like I said, musicians, other celebrities. I don't know about you, but I would rather have this autograph than any of those type of people. That's just my opinion. Coming from a military family, I appreciate everything that our service members do for us. So I hope you've enjoyed this Through the Mail Thursday Memorial Day edition. This is only one request. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I promise next week we will be back on track with 4 returns from one of the sports, baseball, basketball, or football. I'm not sure. Have to open some envelopes and find out, but I hope you at least enjoyed this Memorial Day edition of Through the Mail Thursday. I look forward to your comments below. I will try to put some links to the best of my abilities for Mr. Waldron. There wasn't a lot of them out there. I was just scanning my phone before I shot this video, but there's a few news articles celebrating this event, so I'll at least link those so you can read those for further viewing. So Thanks for your time. I appreciate you watching, and everyone have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and thank those service members, past or present, and definitely remember those that gave their lives for this country this weekend, and remember what Memorial Day is about. It's not about NASCAR. It's not about going out for a barbecue. It's about remembering these great men and women that served their country. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day.